My name is Rumina Velshi. I'm a nuclear engineer by training, and I have been in the nuclear sector for over 4 decades, 45 years altogether. I started as a nuclear design engineer and worked in an electrical utility, Ontario Hydro, and now Ontario Power Generation. For many years, as a nuclear design engineer, as a health physicist, I worked at the Pickering Nuclear Generating Station, was a radiation protection manager there, and then moved into senior roles more on the corporate development side. And then I shifted careers and became a nuclear regulator. I started off as a commission member, and then I was the president and CEO of Canada's nuclear regulator, the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, until October of 2023. And since then, I'm still very deeply engaged in the nuclear sector, more in helping other countries, other organizations that are interested in deploying small modular reactors or even large reactors on how they can do that safely, efficiently, and at the scale that is needed for us to meet our very aspirational goals, whether it's around climate change, whether it's energy security, whether it's affordability, whether it's just access to good, clean, safe, reliable energy.
Yeah, that's very, very, very good to hear. And so, in your words, what are the key elements to make the nuclear power nuclear reactor safe to be used in today's world to meet those goals? What are the key elements there?
So, nuclear power has an excellent safety record. You know, people remember the big accidents, the Chernobyls and the Fukushima and the 3 Mile Island. But if you look at the history of nuclear power globally, it's an exemplary safety record. And I'll speak about the Canadian one that I have the most experience with, have a really good safety record. And so what makes nuclear power plants safe? A number of factors. One is the design itself, where safety is built into all aspects of the technology. And we have a term called defense in depth, which means, there's multiple barriers. So if something goes wrong, you've got other barriers to prevent things from getting worse. So one is just in the design itself. The second is in the operation of it, the rigor that the operating plant goes through, whether it's in training their staff, whether it's in the procedures and the processes that are developed and tested and rehearsed and audited and overseen, just to make sure that it is what we call an event-free environment. Things don't happen. The third part is a safety culture, and the nuclear sector is known for a very strong safety culture where everyone involved, the employees, the supervisors, are encouraged to identify issues, to make suggestions. So open communication, creating a space where people can put their hand up and saying, I don't think this is safe, or I have a better idea of doing it, goes a long ways in making sure that it is safe. What's also unique about the nuclear sector is the peer reviews that happen. It's a very inherent part of the nuclear sector that it is a global sector, that the old adage, an accident anywhere is an accident everywhere, so that we all have a joint responsibility that all our nuclear facilities operate safely. And as part of that, all nuclear facilities regularly bring in international peers to come and review their facilities, their people, their systems, and have this fresh set of expertise, identify opportunities for improvement, because we always want to get better. And it's a very transparent sector where incidents get reported, near misses get reported, accidents get reported, annual performances get reported. And then something that's extremely near and dear to my heart, which I think is a very critical part of how we ensure safety, is the oversight by the regulator. It's a highly regulated sector. The regulators ensure their standards, their international standards, their national standards. The licensing is done by a regulator. The monitoring and oversight is done by these competent authorities. And so it's a sector to be extremely proud of for its safety record, because we all recognize the catastrophe that can result if that isn't the case. And so it, as I said, it's overall has a very strong safety record, and we're always looking for opportunities to be safer.
All right, you mentioned peer reviews when once the plants are in operation, and so there is always more than one pair of eyes looking at the different processes, etc. But when it comes to starting with a nuclear program, newcomer countries and countries that have used nuclear technology, but maybe they are introducing new kinds of technology. So there is a parallel between Estonia and Canada. Estonia is yet to implement a nuclear program to embark on this path. But for Canada, when they are in Canada, in the Darlington new nuclear project, they are deploying a technology that has not been deployed there in Canada before. So Canada is well known for Canadian deuterium uranium reactors, can do reactors. They really can do it.
Yes.
And but not so much, not at all with the boiling water reactors. So when you're a newcomer to the nuclear field or to a new technology, are you alone in nuclear industry, or can you expect external help in regulatory level, in industry level, in public level, and can you comment on that?
I can, absolutely. There's a lot of help. I can share with you what Canada has done, and I can even share with you some thoughts on what Estonia could be doing or should be doing. So in Canada's case, as you rightly pointed out, in the throes of introducing a new technology for us. And we've known this for some time. And so from a regulatory perspective, in order to be prepared to regulate a new technology, several years ago, at least 5 years, 7 years ago, we started to to learn more about the technology, started hiring people who had a background in boiling water reactors, sending out our staff to training facilities. In our case, the GE Hitachi BWRX 300, GE has training programs that our staff went to. We seconded staff to regulators that regulate the boiling water reactor technology. So one was really to build up our own internal capability.
Right.
The second was to, and we continue doing so, is to form alliances and partnerships, whether it's with universities, with research facilities, because this will be an ongoing program, and making sure that we're leveraging the expertise and also building up. So we research and have, provide funding to universities for research in these aspects of the technology. The third is regulatory collaboration. So it's not only staff secondment and training, it is as we start reviewing different aspects of this technology, as we get license applications and we start doing assessments of that. In our case, we've worked very closely with the US regulator, the US Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the US NRC, where we have either used their assessments, or we have done joint assessments, or we've done an assessment that they have peer reviewed for us. Because our whole objective is, one, how do we make sure things are safe? How do we make sure that we're efficient and utilizing our resources in the best possible way? And the third is, how are we building confidence, whether it's in our stakeholders, whether it's in members of the public, whether it's in industry? And when you get a third set of eyes, more objective set of eyes, or if it's done jointly, it just means that there is endorsement of what we're doing. We also use international agencies like the International Atomic Energy Agency that come and do a peer review of what we have done. In our case, they came and reviewed our regulatory framework and said, yes, historically you've regulated can-do technology. is your framework fit for purpose for this new technology or any other technology? And so getting that set of reviews done and endorsement has also helped. And so I think there are a lot of opportunities to learn from others, to get support from others. And I think in Estonia's case, it's very similar, I would suggest. It's the same processes and methodologies. The additional advantage Estonia has, one is it's starting with a clean sheet of paper. And sometimes, as we know, it's always easier to start with a clean sheet of paper than try to modify an existing framework and an existing culture and systems and processes. That kind of change is a bit harder. The second one is Canada has been the first one to license the BWRX 300, and Ontario Power Generation, the first one to start the construction of one at the Darlington new nuclear project. So in Estonia's case, where yours will be the nth of a kind, you'll be able to learn from the experiences of Canada. And so that closer collaboration of learning, of sharing, of building on what has happened rather than recreating the wheel. And the commitment that we have all made that what we really want is a global fleet of a standard design. So it's not just Estonia's BWRX 300 and Canada's. It is a global fleet of a standard design, and that throughout its life cycle, we'll manage it as a fleet so that their efficiencies, whether it's in our maintenance procedures, whether it's in training, whether it's in qualifying our supply chain, um, I think just makes it a lot more efficient and safer.
That's good to hear. And maybe finally, and you attended our conference and gave a presentation yesterday at Fermi's annual conference. So based on that, how did you enjoy being here in Estonia? Have you been to Estonia before? And based on what you saw yesterday on the stage, there were sessions with the international presenters, Canadian experience from the Darlington projects of creating the X300 project there, Estonian developments. So how do you like Estonia, and do you see that we are on the right path from the whole range of from state to the regulator to our company? We can call it a small nuclear industry. Yeah, what do you think?
So, lots of questions there. I have been to Estonia once before, about 8 years ago. We'd done a Baltic cruise, and one of the stopovers was Tallinn.
Nuclear safety business.
No, not nuclear safety business. And, so this was your sixth conference, the first time I was attending it. And I attend lots of conferences, and this one was very, very good in a number of ways. One, again, as you described, there was a fair bit of coverage of what's happening domestically. There was international coverage, and then it was also some sessions that very much looked at what are the challenges and opportunities in Estonia, besides an update on the progress that has been made. So, hearing from folks from the Netherlands and Sweden and South Korea and Canada, all excellent. So it really just reinforced this is global. There's a lot of interest. There were 200 people with varying backgrounds. Very happy to see students there. Got to speak to some of them, and the excitement on what the future is going to hold. And then just hearing about progress from last year, and I really enjoyed when there were speakers who said, well, last year I mentioned all of this, and today I'm going to talk about what has happened since then. And you get a real sense of momentum that has been building and the progress that has been made. And then there was some sessions like around site selection, where two candidate sites, municipal leaders were talking about the challenges within their communities and actually vying for the project for their particular jurisdiction, which was also very refreshing to see that healthy competition that was there. And then, finishing off with why investment in the nuclear program just is a no-brainer. It makes so much sense, not only from a climate perspective, not only from an energy stability perspective, but just economic good sense as well. So it covered a lot of ground very well in a very engaging way. So I really enjoyed it very much. And then earlier today, I had the opportunity, besides meeting with Hugh, were the different government departments and the work that they're doing in establishing the regulatory framework and an independent nuclear regulator. And and how they're going about doing it. Again, scanning what's out there, bringing in best practices, bringing in independent eyes to review what's being done. Very impressed with the whole project management way of doing it. We had a deadline to submit a report by the end of 2023, and guess what? We met that, and the government had 6 months or whatever, and so the focus on the schedule and the quality was very evident even in my conversations there. So I think all of that bodes very well as Estonia gets ready to get in this sector. And I think the partnerships, the collaboration that's being established is absolutely the right way to go about doing it, because we really are in this together and we all have to do well to succeed.
Yeah, nuclear is very powerful, but it's also a small world. So yeah, thanks for that feedback. And this feedback already exemplifies that in nuclear industry we share between countries, experiences, generations, industry and regulators even sometimes.
Right.
And that's very valuable. And thank you for that. And so as you mentioned, we keep planning the work and then working the plan. The next conference will be in 1 year, and happy to see you again here.
Yes, I look forward to seeing the progress you have made since. Thank you.
Thank you.